So I was scheduled for my 16-week appointment, which was on August 2nd. And as always, I go and I was prepared to see my doctor. But just to rewind back a little bit, this is the very first time I've purchased an at-home Doppler, being that I've had some losses in the past. Like, many people don't know how many losses I've had, but I've had quite a few. And so this time around, I purchased a Doppler just for like a peace of mind. And I would check the baby's heart rate at least once a week. I wouldn't get crazy with it because I didn't want to go crazy and just keep using the Doppler every single day. But but my 5-year-old, she always asks, "Can I hear the baby heartbeat? Can I hear the baby heartbeat?" So she was fascinated with the Doppler. And it was just something to give me a peace of mind, and it was cool as long as you don't abuse it. But I went 1 week without even really checking. And then the following week, I said, it was the week of my appointment. So let me check. I just wanted to check real quick. And of course I checked, and there was no heartbeat. So I said, okay, well, I am in the second trimester now, so the baby is moving around more, and it may not be in this position. Because normally I would go straight to that same spot on my left side, and you would get the heartbeat. The heartbeat would be there. But okay, so I didn't make no big deal of it. Said, you know what, I'm not gonna panic. I got my appointment on Friday. So again, I tried the following day, which was a Wednesday, and still yet nothing. And I've tried like 3 times that day. Now I'm getting a little bit nervous because I'm like, what is going on? Then again, I say, you know what, I'm gonna have faith. All is well. This baby is sent by God, so nothing's gonna happen with this baby. We wasn't even trying for this baby, so this is definitely God sent. It's a boy, so this baby's good. So I tried again on Thursday, still nothing. So again, here it is Friday, and I'm like, okay, I'm not too worried. I'm a little bit worried, but not too worried. So like I said, I'm in the second trimester now, so the baby is a little bit bigger, and I know sometimes the baby can move in certain positions, and it's hard for you to find the heartbeat. Hence the reason why the doctors don't want us to have the at-home Dopplers in the first place, because it causes a lot of panic. So my appointment came, and the doctor came in the room, and like always, one of the first things they do is check the baby heartbeat for the heartbeat with their Doppler. And as she proceeded, she struggled to find the heartbeat, but she wasn't panicking. This was the first time we seen this particular doctor, because the place I go to, they have at least 3 different doctors, just in case, if one of them is not in town or whatever. I'm familiar with their doctors. So she's like, okay. She's like, yeah, this is the second baby that's doing this to me today. Had a baby earlier, right before you, that was giving me a hard time finding the heartbeat. So that calmed me down. So I said, okay, cool, yeah. So then she proceeded to check again and try harder in different places, squishing my stomach around, tapping and moving, and still yet nothing. And so she says to me, oh, don't worry, the baby's just probably just hiding, don't worry, don't get upset. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And so she said, okay, I'm going to send you on to the other side to get an ultrasound. And I said, okay, cool. And so I went over to the ultrasound, and I was sitting there. My husband was supposed to come and meet me there, but he got tied up in another appointment, so he was all the way across town at another appointment. So I'm sitting here alone, waiting, and finally she calls me in technician calls me in, puts me on the table, and proceeded to look and check. And mind you, she is quiet as a mouse. And she just goes, and this ain't my first rodeo. I've gave birth to 9 children, so I know what a sonogram is supposed to look like. I know what I'm supposed to see on the screen, and I know what you're supposed to hear coming from the ultrasound. So she's proceeding, and she's just clicking around and, kind of moving fast, and of course not saying anything, and just start taking measurements. And I'm like, measurements? Like, okay, this is not good. And I'm looking on the screen, the baby is as still as can be, like just sitting in the corner, lifeless. And just a few weeks ago, we had an ultrasound, and the baby was just as live and kicking and moving and just doing all kinds of flips and stuff like that. So of course, I knew it wasn't good. And then on top of that, I didn't hear her. I didn't hear any heartbeat. I didn't hear them taking the measurements of the heartbeat. So I knew then that it wasn't good. And so, of course, the technicians, they not really allowed to give you any word on it. So I didn't even bother to ask, because honestly, I really didn't want to know, because I already kind of knew, so I didn't want to hear it. So I didn't even bother to ask. So then it was time for the doctor to come in to go over the sonogram with me. And she came in, and she just came in, and she was like, I'm sorry, there's no heartbeat. And the baby must have stopped growing at 15. The baby is measuring at 15 weeks, 2 days. I'm supposed to be, on that Friday, I was supposed to be 16 weeks and 3 days. So I was walking around with a dead fetus in my body for over a week. And hearing it did something to me. I cried like a baby. I wept and I cried like a baby, because I did not want it to be true. So she explained to me my options for moving forward, and I had 2. One was to be induced and go to the hospital and be induced and give birth to your baby, or to have a D and C, and that's when they surgically remove the baby. And I'm not too comfortable and too keen on the D&C, and I've heard some kind of horror stories about that. But I also heard that the D&C is a quicker process, and also kind of help you move forward faster. And to be quite frankly, I didn't want to go through going to the hospital, being admitted, and being induced, going through labor, like going through real labor, and giving birth to a baby that you can't even bring home. I didn't want to do it. So I opted for the D&C. So nothing could be done during the weekend for the D&C, because the places that does the procedure in my area, they were closed for the weekend. So I had to wait till Monday. So the doctor calls me on Monday, which, by the way, my weekend was just horrible. I was just a miserable, weeping mess. I was angry. Matter of fact, when I left the office, the doctor was like, are you okay? You sure you're okay? You need us to call somebody to come pick you up? And I was like, no, I'm okay. I just wanted to go. I wanted to get out of there. Got to my car, and I was just angry. Called my husband, and I was like, we lost our baby. The baby is gone. And I'm like, and I'm be just very transparent. This was me and my feelings. I told my husband, I hate God. Yes, multiple times I've said it because I could not understand why. Everything was perfect. Like, all of our genetic tests came back perfect. No findings of Down syndrome, no genetic issues. Everything was perfect. It was a boy. Everything, all our sonograms was perfect. It's like the measurements, it's like everything was perfect. Baby was measuring on spot. Like, everything was just working like so well. Like, this came from like the left field. I did not see this coming. And the crazy thing about it is that, we're very private people, and when I finally shared that we was expecting, we was already in our second trimester. And so most people believe that when you're in your second trimester, you kind of out of the woods for miscarriages and for anything, especially when you've been hearing heartbeats for like 3 to 4 sonograms prior to that. It's like, you cool, you out of the woods. So anything that happened from here on just doesn't expect a loss. So got comfortable, and I was like, I'm standing on my faith. This baby's happening, it's coming. But nope. And I'm like sitting in my car, and I'm like, God, why? Why even allow me to get pregnant? Like, I wasn't even trying to get pregnant. We were done. And when I say we were done, okay? Our kids are growing up, going in college, they're graduating high school, they're working, they're getting their license. They're moving on up, and they're doing good for themselves. So I was okay with kind of like relieving some of my motherhood duties. I was okay. But when we found out I was pregnant, and then we found out that it was a boy, it was like, oh God, you've given us a miracle? Like, this is awesome. And like, just like that, just snatches it away. So it's a hard hit to your faith. And anybody that knows me, I stand on faith. Like, my whole life is built on faith. Like, even our marriage was built off and started off on faith. Like, we got married and we didn't even know where we were going to live. Like, that's, I walked down the aisle not even knowing where we was going to reside at. Some people would say that was dumb, that was stupid, but we knew that we were supposed to be together, and this was marriage made in heaven. So we knew that God was going to work everything out. So we stood flat-footed on faith, and God worked it out to a T. I mean, we went on our honeymoon. We had a week honeymoon, and we went and enjoyed our honeymoon. And then when we came back, that's when my mother and my father made an announcement that they purchased a house. And I'm like, we didn't even know. The kids didn't even know. So they purchased a house. So they was moving out of their apartment. So the apartment that they had was turned over to me and my sister. And so, bam, God worked it out. Faith. We stood on our faith. And I felt like that's what I was doing this time, like standing on faith, standing flat-footed, saying God gave us this and this is it. So I really don't know what happened. I'm still unsure why. And people say you can't question God. I'm sorry. I question God. And sometimes he answers and sometimes he don't. But I question God, because if I'm going to be in a relationship with anybody, I should be able to question and ask questions. And I do question God. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes he answers and sometimes he don't. But